So one day I was standing outside of this restaurant on my phone, checking out whatever I was checking out. This fine, beautiful, bootylicious woman was just walking by. Now, you ever see that where a woman just walked by, you wasn't expecting it, you're like, oh my God, look at that. That's what happened to me, right? So immediately I get on her. I'm like, yo, wait, excuse me. You know how it is, right? So she kind of looking at me like, why are you talking to me? You know how they be looking. But I'm like, man, I got to talk to you, baby. You know what I'm saying? You look so good. I want to rub your ankles from the back and all this other type of stuff. And so I can tell that she's wanting to get to where she's going. So I'm like, look, I know you're busy. Let me get your phone number. You know what I mean? Let me holler at you. I was trying to actually get her to come in a restaurant where I was at. But she's like, no, I got to go someplace. She gave me the phone number. So I'm saying, okay, I'm going to hit you up. I want to take you out to dinner or whatever. She's like, all right, that's cool. I hit her up. She ain't hit me back up till like 5 or 6 hours later. I let her know who I was. So the restaurant that I'm at is nice. But I asked her, can we go out to dinner? I can meet you at the same restaurant that I saw you past. And where I was at is, I don't know. It's a nice restaurant. It's called like BJ's. You guys have been, in California. She's like, oh, I don't eat there. So I'm thinking that the reason why she don't eat there is because she's a vegetarian or something. I'm like, well, where do you eat? Ruth Chris. I'm like, hold on. Ruth Chris? I'm like, I don't even take my mama to Ruth Chris. Like, there's no way in hell I'm taking you to Ruth Chris. I ain't even worried about trying to hit her up, right? I didn't think nothing of it at that time. Because I've had a few females tell me, like, the restaurant that I suggested, they didn't want to go there. They wanted to go somewhere better and all of this. But I really didn't understand the phenomenon until now, the New York Daily Post, until I got older a little bit, right? But the New York Daily Post has now written an article about women, a third of women, that they had tested for the sample size. They're like 830 people. A third of women have admitted that they will let guys take them to dinner that they are not interested in. This shouldn't be shocking, right? Especially in the red pill communities, the manosphere communities. But hooking up just for food. We're not talking about sugar daddying. We're not talking about attention online. We're talking about hooking up, specifically going out to go out for food. Now, what would be the reasons that a woman would do this? Number one, she is living in an expensive city where she doesn't make a lot. Example, New York City. Example, Paris. Example, Tokyo. Okay? Wanting to live in a city or a lifestyle you can't afford. Example, Los Angeles. Women who are living in these places where the rent is high, but the job skill set that they have is not equivalent to the lifestyle that they want, they are going to have to do something to survive. And if they're attractive, what they're going to do is get on Tinder to match with you. Now, on the other side of the dating app, you're excited that you have a female that is attractive. You're excited that she looks good. But what you don't know is this woman has no intention on giving you any play, although she's matched with you. Now, what are the other reasons that the article talked about? The article mentioned, and I'll put it here in the first comment, that if food at a grocery store is out, like their favorite freezer food, which is probably very rare because you can go to another grocery store or have that delivered. if there are restaurants that they want to go but don't want to pay, they are likely to go out with you. Just like the example that I used with Ruth Chris. Now, in such situations, a woman, if they pay this by themselves, it may literally be a week's worth of wages. But because you want to impress her and you think it's going to get you somewhere with her, you're going to take her for free food and drinks. Now, I find this to be quite comical, what I'm going to talk about. But in the article, it says that women who are willing to do such things, go out with men just for free food, have some psychosocial issues, narcissistic. Okay? In other words, psychopathic behavior. And although this is a small sample size, what the article is insinuating is that these 33% of women that are doing this, if we're talking about this is the whole entire United States, what they're insinuating is 33% of women have these psychosocial problems. Let's examine that for a second. Imagine that you are looking on a dating app for a date, for a good time, but 1/3 of the possible people have the capability of having some psychosocial issue. Isn't that scary? Imagine if you knew what people in America, I'm not talking about even this, 1/3 of the people were robbers, or 1/3 of the people were killers, or 1/3 of the people that most people would be afraid to even go outside their house, right? So think of the personality of a person that is willing to go out to dinner with you for free. Let me make it personal to you. 1/3 of the people that you have went on dates with have had psychosocial problems. This is what this article is talking about. But we then come back to the question, are you being used for dinner date? Now, I found out if a woman wants to spend time with you, and we talked about this yesterday, whatever dinner date that you pick, you will hear no objection. If you're the kind of person that will take a woman out to eat, I am, right? Whether it's McDonald's or any place like that. If a woman is okay with going out with you, any place, to me, she's less likely to use you for the food. What I'm thinking here is that guys are going to hire in places where the combined bill is going to be over $100-something or more. This is where guys are getting caught up at. And because of this, you are being used for dinner dates for people who are showing you no form of interest. Now, I'm not against dinner dates at all, right? But that's debatable. Some guys say, I need to have this before the dinner date. I know my man Afi Kingdom yesterday was talking about there needs to be certain levels of interest shown by the woman, which I definitely agree. But I just want to get back to that 1/3 of narcissistic personality. It explains a lot why you see guys talking about going overseas now. Not just black men talking about this, but you see all groups of men talking about this now. I was in Germany, for example, about a year ago. I met this guy who was a civil engineer. He had moved to Ukraine. He's getting married to some woman there, mentioning some of the same issues that American men have here. And it just really shows you what sort of society that men are dealing with or have the capability of dealing with if that article is numerically true with the 1/3. But step back and ask yourself, if I'm using dating apps and 33% or more, is this even worth it if they have psychosocial problems? Why am I even dating? Like, a lot of guys will start asking themselves these questions. And then what you're going to really see in the future are the dates are going to start decreasing. And I'm going to tell you, women, if they don't have the certain skill sets to make it in big cities, I've seen predictions where you're going to see girls getting intimate for Red Bulls, energy drinks. I've read that before. I don't know how true it is, but it just goes to show you that the price of coochie is decreasing. It will be decreasing. And I really speculate that once you have this particular crisis that's going to hit or financial burden that's going to hit, man, you're going to have some people doing you have some chicks doing some real strange things, man. But anyways, what do you guys think? Are you guys being used for any dinner dates, man? Let me know. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. Subscribe, hit the bell. Meet me in the comment section. I'm out.